volume. This is an issue because so many of our students have never even seen a journal. They don't know what a volume is. They're not familiar with a lot of these terms. So a lot of these terms are new to them. So the language itself is new to them. Well, this is the old way. And this is an example of the new way. This is a book, and this was the book titled the way it used to be done before 2009. And now we italicize. And if you notice, we capitalize everything in the title except for the articles, if it's not at the beginning, the, an, or a. We don't capitalize the prepositions in MLA, and we don't capitalize the conjunctions. Everything else we capitalize. Also, the word print is different. So the update, we'd add the word print rather than just leave it blank. They have to have that word print. It has to be capitalized, has to have a period at the end of it. Real nitpicky stuff. So this is the APA.
This is APA.
And I want to ask a question. How many of y'all, this is review. Most of you know this, right? Yeah, more or less. I'm thinking so. I mean, yeah.
College, if you're taking
Yeah.
courses, you potentially are up to date on this. If you haven't attended courses
Yeah.
recently, it might be a little.
I think most of you do. This is APA, and this is MLA. Some examples of with the no author. So go ahead, Elizabeth.
If you don't have an author in APA, they simply move the title forward. So this is the title of the book.
MLA. And with MLA, if we don't have an author, we just take it off. If we don't have the author, we start with the next thing in line, which in this case is the title of the newspaper article. So a pretty simple explanation. So this is.
They want the DOI, which is a thing.
And when I showed my preview this with Dr. Dickens the other day, and he actually put in a DOI, and he found the article. So you can type this in, if I'm not mistaken, and it pulls it up in the internet, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Or sort of the black sheep here, Chicago. I thought I'd at least include a little section of Chicago for Larry and anybody else out there who uses Chicago, because I use Chicago as an undergraduate in professional technical writing. So it is a legitimate type of style. And why should we include it? Well, it is one of the oldest styles. It's used in history and some humanities courses. And I got a quote from Mr. Edler, who's one of our adjunct history teachers here. And he says he uses Chicago style in his class because if they go to a four-year university, they may be required in some of their upper-level courses to know Chicago. And many times the instructor won't teach it at that level. So he feels that it's really necessary, and he will spend time in his classes. He spends about 2 or 3 good days, and he sent me some of his handouts that he uses to help students with Chicago. Now, they'll still come to me in 1302 and say, Miss Branniger, can you help us because we don't know how to use Chicago? But I have it from the authority. He does teach them how to do it. He's shown me his handouts. They're very good. So he's trying to show them how to do it, but you know, it's giving them, empowering them with that ability that, hey, I can do it myself. That seems to be the big challenge. And another thing that I wanted to mention that we noticed with this Academic Search Complete, which is one of the favorites among our students, because you can simply go to this and copy and paste from whatever style you use. And how hard could that be, right? We didn't have this when we were kids. But Academic Search Complete has with it some dangers, and we want to warn them of these dangers. And one really good example that I found is an article called Chopin's The Story of an Hour. And this one is one that we use frequently when they research Kate Chopin's short story in 1302. Now, in theory, you can go to, here it is, okay, up closer. You can click on this link, and students will get this little bar over here to the right-hand side with all the different tools. You can print it, you can email it, etc. Well, you can cite it. So how cool is that? All they have to do is click cite, and now you've got AMA, you've got APA, you've got Chicago, you've also got MLA. All they've got to do is learn how to copy and paste. So they don't even really have to memorize it. Here's APA, copy this off and paste it, boom. Right? So our job's done. but not really, okay? Because here, I have an example of what my students will copy over into a Word document, okay? Here is the MLA version of Daniel Deneau's Chopin's The Story of an Hour. That's the title of his article. And you get these 3 little paste options and you get them really fast. So sometimes you just paste and you're done, right? Most of the times my students paste and they're done. And it takes out the format. It takes out the italics of the journal. It takes out the italics of the e-databases. And this is important. This is sort of that picky stuff that we have to learn. So, if you click the right button and it does format it correctly, okay, now we've got it formatted correctly. We've even indented it, indexed, or hanging indent. Everything's italicized, but there's still something wrong with it. Can anybody tell me what it is? Okay, his first name's Daniel P. and his last name's Deneau, but there's a period. Y'all might not be able to. That's APA. Yeah, that's APA. Good. Yeah. But yeah, this is MLA. But there's something wrong with this still. All caps. Very good. It's still got the article title is Chopin's The Story of an Hour, and some wonderful administrative assistant out there typed this in for us, so we don't have to think, right? But we still got all caps. So I tell my students, you need to take this, The Story of an Hour, which is the short story title, bring it down, and put the single quotes inside the double quotes. Okay, so yeah, doesn't that sound picky? But that's MLA style. It's a standard, and that's what we teach them. And they get it. After we tell them, they do get it. So that's some of the dangers of it. Do you want to do this and then okay?
So basically, the issue here, simplification, is that all self-adjust rules that we recognize for academic writing. It's important to support a style in your class, and because it adds credibility to the importance of styles in academic writing. The issue is we need to teach our students about places usable and what is up to date today. And
what y'all have in your hand, this printed material. Those of y'all who don't want to go online, what we have here is the first and last pages of the 3 major styles we've talked about today: MLA, APA, and history, and the Chicago style. And we tried to find the commonalities of all 3 styles. So, at the very least, in your classes, if you would teach your students to double space, that's something that all the styles have in common. All the styles have that inserted page number in the upper right-hand side. Now, some of them use, MLA uses the author's last name. That's okay. But just to know how to do that insert page number and to reinforce the importance of that in their class, all 3 styles use that. So that'll benefit them no matter what style they're using. Also, the essay titles are capitalized in all styles. The actual student's essay is capitalized. Then on the second page there, you'll see that the heading is centered, and that's in the MLA, the APA, and Chicago style. And the list is alphabetized. The MLA list is alphabetized. The APA list is alphabetized in references. And even the bibliography of Chicago is alphabetized, even though they have a footnotes page or endnotes page that's numbered. So these common things, we can support each other with those, so that maybe if they go on to Dr. Sanchez's class and they need to know APA, they can at least know the basics. Okay. So here's some resources that we can send these to y'all if you want. You probably know about most of them anyway. The OWL is one that Michael and some of us in English use. Research and Documentation Online. The Yale College Writing Center is a really good one. And Microsoft Office Format, and that's all of them.